I'm not a man. I'm a girl.
Oh, now I see. It's a beautiful name for a lovely girl.
Hello Avatar fans, my name is Avatar Ken, and today I'm gonna continue ranking every character in the Avatar universe. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get into the video. The Mother of Faces is a really cool idea in concept. It's just I don't really like the way that she was used in the Search comic. I feel like she's used more as a plot device than like an interesting addition to the lore, like her son, the Face Stealer. I do think that's a really cool idea that spirits can have like offspring. That is a really cool idea that came with her, but honestly, the Mother of Faces is pretty boring to me, so I'm not gonna rank her too high. Alright, in the case of Naga, the polar bear dog, I actually really like Naga. Naga is super cute, and I do think she makes a really good addition to Legend of Korra as Korra's like animal guide. It's just, if I'm being honest, she's just nowhere near like as impactful as Appa or even Momo is. So I won't rank her higher than those characters, but I do like Naga. The next one is just a bunch of generic Water Tribe warriors, and yeah, I mean, they're cool. There's not much else I can really say about them. So I'm just moving on to the next thing. Now, Opal Beifong, I really do like this character. I really like her character design because, you know, I like the theory that she's actually Sokka's kid, but I'm not gonna get into that too far. But her relationship with Bolin is pretty sweet, actually. So she's gonna go, you know, somewhere relatively decent in the C tier. Now, Nyla the Shirshu, I'm just gonna put her in the animal tier. There's not a lot to say. She's a really cool animal and she had a really cool fight against Appa, but besides that, there's just not much to go off of. Alright, so with Ozai, like, hands down, I love Ozai. Like, I know that a lot of people say that he doesn't have much depth, but I think that what he does have is like this really cold, really calculating, really manipulative, like evil, like super deep-seated evil. And then when you look at his family, like there's a whole lot of things you can conclude from that. Like you look at Iroh and he's actually, you know, like a lot sweeter and a lot more gentle. And I think he's always kind of been like that. And I think that's because he was the firstborn, right? So like, I really do think that like that whole firstborn, secondborn thing that we kind of see clash when he tries to get his father, Zulon, to take his birthright away. I do think that that really did color why he ended up that way. Like he was way more of a victim of the family than I think Iroh really was. Like Iroh was definitely still a victim, but I don't think he was as much as Ozai. And I think that's why Ozai is so much worse than he is. It's like, think about it. Like Azula's also the second born and she got it a lot worse than Zuko did. You know, relatively speaking. Like I think that, you know, all in all, that she got it a little bit worse because she didn't have good people around her, like Iroh, and obviously she had issues with her mother, and Zuko definitely did have those advantages over her. So I like when you look at it that way, like I really do like Ozai, and I like what they do with him. Like this dude manages to like trump all of the evil that his family has already done by being like, you know what? I'm gonna genocide an entire another nation. Like, yeah, my grandfather did that, but you know, he only did that as a precautionary measure against the Avatar. I'm gonna do it because we conquered Ba Sing Se, we conquered the Earth Kingdom, but they still don't want to give up. They still want to fight. So I'm gonna take my crazy daughter's idea and literally genocide all of them. So yeah, Ozai, he ranks really high for me. Like, I really do like him as a villain. I like him as a character. I think they did a really good job in things like The Search too. So Pabu's he's just a cute animal to be in the background. He's like Momo, but less impactful. So that's really all I got to say about him. Pakku. I actually like Pakku. Now look, I understand that Pakku was definitely trying to support and suppress women with his very, very sexist doctrine. But I really do feel like he was kind of like a victim of the writing. Like within like the show, like I think they kind of just set up this like idea that he's a sexist, but they don't go into why. They don't go into like the tribe, right? And then they just kind of just resolve it really, really quickly just by him finding the necklace, right? Like I think it's a beautiful thing, but I honestly think that like the writing was really pretty bad right there. I would love to see that rewritten with him still being a sexist at first, but coming to realize that sexism is a bad thing and helping to challenge sexism within the Northern Water Tribe with Katara. I would love to see that. But the reason I like him is I just like his personality. Like, he just has such a deadpan negative personality. He's always insulting people. Like, I think it's funny. Now, obviously, I don't think it's funny when he's doing it in a sexist way. I mean, like, when Sokka's like, oh, I'll call you Grandpaku, and he's like, no. Like, that's the humor from Paku that I actually really do like. And once he, got over the sexist thing, once they resolved that, I think he was a pretty good character after that. So, I actually feel really good about Paku. Now, Piandao. Piandao is like the opposite of Paku, right? Like, what I like about Piandao is that he can look at people and be like, oh, yeah, you might actually be a good warrior, but you're just full of yourself, right? Like, I've seen 1,000 of your kind come up here to try to get trained by me, and I turn away all of you because you guys are just, for lack of a better term, assholes, right? So I like that as soon as Sokka comes up, who's just this young kid who isn't really a warrior at all, but he breaks down, he's honest to him, he immediately decides, yeah, I'm gonna train this guy. So Piandao, he's like, not only is he super badass, like, come on, this dude literally fought Sozin Comet level firebenders during Sozin's Comet, like alongside the rest of the White Lotus. He is not a bender. This dude decided to roll up in here like that with all of these other benders with just a sword. So he has that badass quality, but he also has this patience and this wisdom. Like, he was able to figure out that Sokka was Water Tribe. He was able to figure out that Aang was the Avatar. Like, he's the only character in the show who kind of does that. Besides, there's a few other, like, Boomy, but he was playing. But, like, the fact that he used his wisdom to, like, just logic his way through that, like, and he's part of the White, like, he's just really cool. Piandao is one of my favorite, actually. Now, Pipsqueak. I'm not a big fan of this character. I'm gonna be honest. He's alright. I think he's a cool enough character, but he's not more than you really need, right? The pirate captain, same thing. Like, the waterbending scroll isn't my favorite episode of Avatar, and the pirate captain isn't the most like he's not the most like charming character in the show or anything. He's just a generic pirate captain. All right, so Pali. I actually really do like Pali, right? Like, there's not much that you can get out of her because she is kind of quiet because she's a combustion bender. But I really do like what they did with her bending. Now, Combustion Man was really cool, but like Pali can like curve her blast and everything. And the way she went out was like honestly jaw-dropping. Like, I know Korra like generally got away with more violent things than Avatar, but like that was kind of crazy. How her head just exploded and Lin and Suyin worked together. That was really cool to see. And I think her relationship with Zahir is really sweet. It really is. Like, the first thing these two do after they see each other after like what 10 years is immediately start making out, and it just basically is on so uncomfortable. But I really do like the character. It's just there's just not much to her. Like, I can't really put her up that high, even though I do like her, because there's just not much to her. Like, and that's the problem with the Red Lotus in general. They never really got their due. I really do feel like they were worthy of more than they got. I really do wish we got like a flashback episode on them. That would have been really cool. Okay, the next one is the Air Temple Lemur from Korra. I don't have anything to say about it. Like, there's a couple cute scenes with this lemur with Milo, but besides that, I don't really have anything to say. Oh, and okay, the Water Tribe siblings from the Search, like, they had a better story than their characters were worth. Like, their story was really interesting. Like, I'm not gonna spoil it. Like, go read the Search, but besides that, there's not much else I can say about these two. President Reiko. I really do like President Reiko. I actually do. First of all, I like the fact that he does not put up with Korra's BS. Because Because sometimes Korra does bring BS. He reacts to like what Korra thinks and does, like her actions, the way a normal rational person probably would if they were in charge like of an entire territory. Yeah, I don't remember. I haven't seen Korra in a while. He might have been like corrupt or something, but I did like the way that he handled Korra. I really did like that about his character. Ran and Shaw, they'll go pretty high in the animal tier. Like their characters, like what they do for Aang and Zuko is more important than like just them in general. But what they do for Aang and Zuko and for that episode is amazing. The Firebending Masters is one of my favorite episodes because of them. All right, Avatar Roku. Avatar Roku is probably like the avatar that I feel like I'm the most like. Like if I was gonna be the avatar, I think I would be Roku. I wouldn't be Aang, I wouldn't be Korra, I definitely wouldn't be Kyoshi. I would probably be Roku because I really do appreciate Roku's like quietness, his like nobility and respect. Like he tried so hard to be patient with people like Sozin, and like yeah, it was a mistake and it did end up, you know, costing a lot of people their lives and costing the world like an entire war. But it's like I really don't blame him because like under any other circumstances, like let's say that he did turn it around, right? Like if he would have done that, he would have just been taking out not only like a leader who was really important, which could have destabilized the Fire Nation, but he'd also be taking out his best friend. Like guys, think about this. These guys were born on the same day. They were super duper close. That was his best friend. Like I really can't blame him for not wanting to kill his best friend. And otherwise, he's just so wise and respectable. Like, I really do like Avatar Roku, and I love his story. All right, Colonel Monkey. Colonel Monkey is actually a more interesting character than you might think, because he's the one who killed Jet's parents. It was him. They showed it in the flashback. So he is the guy who Jet was angry about this entire time. See, like, you know, Jet was taking out on the entire Fire Nation in general and going so far as to do things that would kill innocent people. But the guy he really should have, you know, actually gotten mad about, the guy he really should have been facing, like, with all that rage was Colonel Monkey. And, you know, besides this, he is in other episodes and he's a cool enough character. He doesn't get enough screen time to really blossom, I think. But like just like that connection like that they pull between him and Jet, I think is what lifts him up and makes him notable as a character. Now the airbender nerd guy from Korra, this guy makes me laugh a lot. We all know someone who has this family member, right? Whether it's your uncle, your brother, you know, we all know someone who this joke like is relatable for. So that's why I like him. Besides that, he doesn't really do much. All right, Momo. You know, Momo's gonna go pretty high in the animal tier because he's probably like the second best overall, just behind Appa. And like, Momo actually has more character than probably a significant amount of people on this list. The next guy is a guy named Gashwin. If you guys, I mean, you guys probably don't remember the name, but this is the guy who basically stole and sold Appa. Yeah, like, I think this guy's a piece of trash as a person. But as a character, he was actually super effective because them losing Appa was like one of the craziest things that ever happened in the show. The next guy is some guy I don't even really remember from Korra. He's just a water tribe triad. If I'm right about him, there's probably like nothing to his character for real. He's not gonna rank really high. All right, so the last character that I'm gonna rank in this video, Smellerbee. I mean, Smellerbee as a character, like she isn't the most impactful character in the show by a long shot. you see what I did there? But I really do like the sort of maybe intended, maybe not intended parallels between like her struggles with identity and people in real life struggle with identity in terms of being transgender. Now this is like a very heavy topic and I don't really want to muddy the waters or anything, but I do like the fact that they were ballsy enough to tackle a character struggling with their identity in a way that brings up real life like struggles like being a transgender person. if that is what they were going for with Smellerbee, or if that's what the intended like version of it is supposed to be nowadays. I really do think they did a really good job. Like, I'm not trans myself or anything, but from what I can see, they didn't do anything that was disrespectful, and I feel like they handled an issue like that well. And I really do think that something like that being in front of children in the way that it was presented was not invasive at all, or not bad at all. It was actually probably very informative and very eye-opening. So I really do like the way that is weaved into this character, because when you're first looking at Smellerbee at first, you're not sure what Smellerbee is. And I think that that's a really good way to introduce a character. So yeah, like, that's all I'm gonna say about Smellerbee for now, but I really do enjoy that about her character. And yeah, that was basically as far as I'm gonna go with this episode.
I know. You're right. As long as I'm confident with who I am, it doesn't matter what other people think. Thanks, Longshot.